Hey guys, Miranda Manticos here, psychic channeler, spiritual teacher. Okay, so I have a little moment of pause here today at the spa, and so I thought we'd pull some cards. You want to? Okay, so I pulled 3 decks out. Haven't used these in a while, but I love them. So I'm just trying to change it up for you guys. I also ordered some new ones that are coming that are going to be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm feeling a lot of dragon energy lately, so I got a dragon deck. I thought it would be beautiful, and a few others. All right, so what are we working on, Spirit? What is the collective working on right now? Disruption. Okay. And the feeling I get from this is someone trying to disrupt your, they're saying mission. Okay. Connection. Use the runner guides. Okay, so there's a great book. Actually, let me just show you. This is the author and oracle of the deck, Sonia. Ooh, I'm getting upside down. Sonia, I never can say her last name properly. Choquetti. I don't know if it's supposed to be French, so I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, but I've read a couple of her books actually, and I love them. She was actually one of the first authors that I read years ago when I started to really go deeper into understanding the messages from my angels and my spirit team. Actually, I like her work. But in one of the books that I read from her, she talks about the runner guides, okay? So the runner guides typically are indigenous, like your spiritual team of the indigenous ancestors, okay? These are guides that can look for things for you, help you, seek for you. This is part of your spirit team that, like, in little and big ways works out the connections. So it's totally written perfectly. So someone trying to block you, right? And don't worry, you're being protected from that. Use your connections so that they don't, right? I'm gonna split the deck. I'm hearing 2 things. Okay, so unconditional love. Okay, ask your teachers. These are teacher guides that love you no matter what. They will help you. Yeah, and work, okay? Ask for the help you need. So this is a message really for someone who is here on a mission, okay? This is the feeling I'm getting from this. You're here for a very specific reason. Everyone has a purpose in this life. Everyone is important, but souls that were sent to help teach, guide, heal, make new ways, carve new paths. Those individuals, definitely this is the message for those, okay? Because there may be some blocks in your way. Sometimes the blocks are coming from you, okay? And I had to learn that in my own journey. I had to learn to remove my own fears and any part of my ego that was getting in the way of my true purpose, right? And also what brought me joy. But if it's not you and you've done, the work that you need to do on yourself, it can be sometimes others, right? But don't worry about that. Make those connections. See, use the runner guides. Use your indigenous connection. Ask the ancestors for help with this, right? And trust that you are loved unconditionally, that your teachers are with you, okay? Because sometimes, like even as a teacher, I'll give you an example. Sometimes you don't know what the next step is either. And you might, depending on what type of practice you have, you might face situations where you're just not really sure what to do, right? You need to ask for help, okay? That's what, this card is about, okay? Asking for help, understanding there's a process, and that there are many involved here in the work that we're doing here in the earth realm. That it's not just you. It's not even just you and your guides. It's many and all of their guides, and we're all doing this collectively. And those connections, that's why connections are so important. Yeah, they can really tip the scale and help you pivot, okay? Okay, so in need of healing. So this is really important if you're on a mission here to help others. Self-care has been a message that's coming through a lot from me, but also for others. Make sure that you do that. Make sure that you have the healing that you need, okay? Everything you learn, by the way, in that healing journey will serve your spiritual practice, okay? So just know that you can take all of those lessons that you get from your teacher guides and put it into your practice, and you will benefit, okay? So pray. This is what we need, right? A lot of people underestimate the power of prayer. And I know that sounds like impossible, right? Like, how could they not know? But seriously, I think sometimes, especially in the spiritual world, because we're so used to talking to our spirit team a certain way, we underestimate the value of just a simple prayer, like making a request, right? And trusting that you're going to receive. But do that, okay? I've actually done sessions before on clients, QHHT sessions, like past life regressions, okay? Where when we actually talk to the soul has come through before and said to the individual they need to pray more. They're not praying enough. So prayer is so powerful, and you want your guidance. You know, we need it. And so ask and you shall receive, right? Okay, I'm going to pull out this other deck. This is an activation of light deck. This is Kyle Gray. This is a different one that he makes. It's really beautiful. Okay. What activation is the collective getting right now? Especially the spiritual practitioners, but everyone. What about all these folks that are seeing the orbs and the UAPs? What is that about? Aha. Okay. I actually pulled two, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. Akashic Records. Clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom. That's where we're at. That totally makes sense because we're converging timelines. So we're pulling all this together. That's the video that I made about dreams 2 days ago, I think. It's on my channel. There's so much coming into one dream. When I have a dream, there'll be so much. So many timelines, so many people, so many things, because we're meshing these together. So this card really makes sense, okay? The second one, this is really special for me, is the crystal skulls, okay? The crystal skulls, and by the way, the message on this one is clarity, divine healing, high vibrational energy. So when I first started receiving messages from Mary Magdalene, with my knowledge, okay, she was probably guiding me my whole life, but I didn't know. But when I started to realize it, one of the first dreams that she gave me showed these three skulls. And I won't get into the specifics about that dream in this video, but the skulls would light up, okay? And they would light up when we communicated with the other worlds, okay? I didn't know about the crystal skulls back then. I didn't even know they were a thing. Like, this is such an authentic awakening journey. I jokingly sometimes say I was so innocently ignorant, but the good thing about that was I was authentically taught by my guides and nobody else, right? So, but anyway, the skulls kept coming to me. Like, I would see messages from them. I would see synchronicities from them. I would have dreams about them. And even in the church, you know, some of you know, I mentioned this on the last video, that my baptismal name is Mary Magdalene. Even in her icon in the church, in the traditional sense, she's pictured with skulls, okay? And in Christ was died in a place the Bible calls the skull place, okay? Isn't this interesting? And, you know, a lot of times you'll hear spiritual practitioners say, and also like even like maybe your grandma or great grandma say, I feel it in my bones, right? Okay. That's the feeling I get when we're talking about the crystal skulls. Think Akashic Records, crystalline structure, ancient dragon energy, okay? And the records of humanity. So to see the skulls or to see the bones, see that to me, in a metaphysical sense, that's the Bible's way of saying that Christ and Mary Magdalene were connected to the bones of humanity. So think ancient stories, okay? Our true history here. And these skulls, by the way, have been found all over the world in very sacred places. I believe many of those places are being activated right now. Undercover. But yeah, and as you know, I made a post about this a couple weeks ago about cell phones and how they're made out of crystal and copper and wire and things like in your circuitry so your screen is crystal, but underneath that you have all this wiring and things that transmit the information. And so basically your cell phone is like an energy amplification device on purpose. This is why I was telling people to use it for something really good, because it's amplifying everything you do, right? But that being said, that technology should prove to you that crystal is intelligent and that it can store and retrieve information. This is why we know that it's the crystals and the stones and the bones of Earth that have all of her records, okay? And so that's very relevant. It's actually very scientific. I know a lot of people look at that as a spiritual message, but there's enough technology now to prove that actually everything that was taught spiritually about crystals is true, scientifically as well. So that being said, imagine these ancient skulls made of crystal. And you can investigate these. They're really amazing. Like, nobody knows how they were made, how they were cut, the way they were cut. It's just inexplainable, okay, without the whole story. But imagine the records that skull contains, and when it's activated, what memories does it bring back to humanity? See, that's what's being activated right now, the crystal skulls. See, we're being called to remember. All people are being called to remember. Some of us did this early, by the way. We did that to help. And yeah, so, if you need help, if you feel like, if everything I'm saying is just like sounding like another language to you, ask for help, okay? Because everything I'm telling you took me years to discover, of doing research and investigation and self-work and all the things, classes and just all kinds of stuff, you guys. So, but you don't have to go through all that, okay? Like, there are people that can help you. So pray about that. Remember the first reading, pray more, ask for help, and there's teachers that can help, okay? So this is so amazing. I love this deck. I haven't used it in so long. Arcturian Light Codes. So the Arcturians, this says evolutionary downloads, recalling power of future thinking. The Arcturians were among the first group that I remember speaking to me as a collective, okay? So in my awakening journey, up until the point that I encountered the Arcturians, I would hear one guide talking, okay, usually, like Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene or Christ, or the Hathors of Egypt, but I would present with just one, right? I would see like one. Or Thoth, he still guides me even now, and it'll just be him, okay? Now, I think that, from the spiritual standpoint, most ascended teachers are a collective consciousness, and I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, years ago when I was first beginning this. But when the Arcturians came through, that was the first time they let me know that they were part of a federation of light, okay? A council. And I was like, what? And I was like, doing my sun meditation one morning years ago. And all of a sudden I heard, we are the Arcturians. We are part of the Federation of Light. And I was like, what the heck am I hearing, right? And that led me down a path. A lot of reading, a lot of channeling. But Arcturian energy is very ancient, really peaceful, very loving, and very healing too, by the way. If you're on a healing journey, ask the Arcturians. And I know one channeler, I don't know her personally, but she's on here. I'll try to tag her in this. I don't even know if she'll see it, because she's got quite a bit of a following. But she is, I believe, very connected to the Arcturians, and she has that very high vibration, just so crystal clear, so light, so loving. Okay. I'm hearing think like Michael Jackson, So if you disconnect from the parts of him that weren't him, that's what I'll put it like that. and just look at the good parts of him, that joyful child he was, you know, before he got swept into all the stuff. He was just full of light and joy and happy and talented and on a mission, okay? So think of that kind of joyfulness, you know. And with Arcturians, you know, one of the ways my guides kind of helped me understand them is, you know, think of their name, right? This is just how my guides communicated it, but they were like, you know, Arcturians, architects, arcs, okay? So there's a many layers message there, but basically very ancient energy, very much able to understand the architecture of our light grid here, where we are, and also what it looks like in the future, okay? So that helps us on the path of making corrections here in our personal life and as a collective, because we're being guided by beings who have already done this, who have already ascended, okay? So I do love their energy, and I do find them very helpful. I'll do one more from this deck. Okay. Sacred inner space, sacral chakra, tenderness, sensuality. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna try to hold it where you can see how beautiful the card is. So the sacral chakra right now is very important because we are creating the new earth. You know, we are embodying the codes, and the new grid essentially is coming from within all of us, okay, through the solar plexus, the heart, and the sacral, and even the mind. This is why you have to activate all the portals of your body. This is why chakra work is so important. This is why shadow work is so important. So that you can effectively help create the new earth frequency through love, okay? And this is why the Arcturians can help you with that, because their energy is so powerful and so wise and gentle, okay? Which I think humanity needs at this point. Guides are not always gentle, by the way, and depending on who your guide, like if you, okay, like I'm very connected to dragons. You know, a few of my guides are very intense in their energy. That's not for everybody, okay? Right now, the collective, to me, in my opinion, needs that gentleness. So I'm glad for the Arcturians to do that, because, yeah, they're just a very peaceful, loving group of beings, and they care about you and care about all of us, and I think it would be really helpful. And the sacral, sensual energy, by the way, to me, carries the message of making sure that you heal your root chakra and your sacral chakra, okay? For men, a lot of that is root work. For women, it's a lot of sacral work, but it could be both ways. But the reason why you want to heal that, especially if you've ever been through sexual trauma, or if any of your ancestors have, you need to heal that, okay? And that's a little bit of a journey there, but it's doable. But when you do heal that, and you take your power back into your womb and into your creative organs, you then begin to create what you dream of, and not what those who would have abused your power wanted, okay? So that's the feeling I'm getting from that card, is do your inner healing work from the trauma, okay? So that you can effectively create. Now this next deck, last deck, the Pleiadian Oracle. I like this guy. I actually saw him in a class that I took. Let me give you his name. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay. Flo Karuna. I'm going to show you his picture. I hope I'm saying this right. Very sweet, gentle soul. Did a beautiful meditation for a group in a class that I took on dragons and dragon energy, and people who are flame carriers and that kind of work. And he was a guest channeler on that class, and it was amazing. Such a gentle, beautiful soul. I will try to tag these folks if they're on YouTube or TikTok, just so we can bring attention to their channels, because I do feel they all are genuine. So his book is focused on the Pleiadian energy, which is so beautiful. And by the way, my guides, okay, so my Egyptian guides, the Hathors and Thoth, told me that the Hathors are connected to the Seven Sisters. It's kind of like the same energy. It's just different ways of interpreting those feminine archetypes that help with the creation of all that we know, okay? So, you know, whether you resonate more with the Pleiadians or the Egyptian pantheon, I think it's a very similar energy with the Hathors. Now, that's not all of it, you know, but like just something to think about, okay? So we're creating the new earth, right? Didn't we just talk about that? And asking for guides and not allowing any others to stop us. Ask our spirit team, ask our runner guides to clear the path, make the connections, and get it where we need it to be, right? So that activation that we're working on with the Akashic records, the crystal skulls, all of that is going to break into creating the dream. So see, so it says dream time. And I just did a post about this because my dreams are off the charts right now. And I've always been a lucid dreamer, astral traveler, remote viewer. But it's more than it's ever been in my life. And I'm sure you guys are feeling it too. But it is time to dream, okay? And I'm not just talking about, you know, your dreams that you're seeing at night from your guides when you sleep. I'm talking about what are you dreaming of? What is in your heart, okay? This is what you need to be creating. If you are in a place in your life where you don't know for sure what your purpose is, you maybe don't like your work. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Yeah, start looking at ways to create a new way for you to do something that you love that can also provide for your needs, okay? And I talked about this in the masculine healing video I did, I think it was last week, on just, you know, understanding that your purpose can be created by you. You do not have to just follow a laid out plan. Your soul is actively working with you on that. So you can create your purpose, you know, you can do anything you want to do. And understanding and accepting that and beginning to allow yourself to dream, okay? Let me show this again because it's so beautiful with the sacred geometry. Allow yourself to dream. For my followers who are seeing all the orbs and the UAPs and all that, are you looking forward to contact? Dream about it. Daydream about it. And you might just get contact in that daydream, because that happens, by the way. Go lay out in the sun and daydream about meeting whoever's on that ship that you just saw and see what happens, okay? You are protected. Remember, we pulled that card. You are safe. So daydream a little bit. See what comes, okay? Portals. Yes, I've been seeing them everywhere. I'm seeing them in the clouds. I'm seeing just the lightning that we're experiencing here. I don't think it's regular lightning. It's like plasma beams. They look like these streams of light that look like a portal, like a gateway is really more what it looks like when it opens up, like that video that's on my page where I saw all the faces coming through and all the streams of light. Yeah, so much is going on right now. So just realize that you are a carrier of portals within your body. So seeing them outside of yourself, in my opinion, really has to do with the fact that it's going on inside of yourself. So I'm activating those portals, right? Channeling and working with my spirit team and the people that are my guides and that are working with me to do this work that I do here. So that's the same for you too, okay? So understand that if you're seeing something amazing, it's because you're calling it in, okay? The more you do that, the more we're gonna see here. I feel that strongly. I just saw like a surge of light when I said that. Universal heart. Divine love. We are one. We are one. We are one. And we can all be unique and still be one collective body. Does that make sense? Sorry, they're talking to me so fast. It's coming through. It's interesting. Rooted light. So to me, that carries the message of the person who has awakened the roots, who has done the shadow work, who is working with the ancestors. Okay, like think of the bridge, Mary Magdalene, that in between, where you know the Sky Father, so to speak, in the indigenous sense, and you know the Earth Mother, and you're in between, and your light is rooted because you've done the work. Does that make sense? And that's powerful, very powerful. One more. Star royalty. You are royalty. You are chosen for this, okay? That also means you're fully supported, fully protected, and that you can do this. You chose a mission on this planet that you can do. Passion. Follow your passion. Passion leads to purpose. Remember that. Okay? So if you want to know what your purpose is, passion. What are you passionate about? There's your purpose. Mothership. Ooh, here we go, y'all. Here we go. I feel like we are on the mothership, by the way. All right. I'm going to do one more. Then I got to wrap it up. 1 second. 1 second. Let me just shuffle it. I'm going to pause for 1 second. Okay. Let me shuffle them. Hold on. This one just fell out. All right, do this quick. Energy, work. So someone is either already working with energy or you're going to, okay? And you can start doing that like in your backyard or at the park, whatever place in nature you have access to. Even before formal training, you know, you can sense your own energy. And one of my dear friends is a level 3 master Reiki practitioner. And when I first began, I told him, I said, my guides really don't want me to take this class, not because they thought it was bad or wrong, but they wanted to teach me themselves. And he 100% was like, I agree. You don't need to, right? You were born with what you're supposed to be doing. You know it. It's your inner knowing, right? Most people just don't trust their inner knowing, right? So then they don't trust that they know effectively how to do energy work. And don't get me wrong, I'm not underestimating the value of having a teacher. Absolutely. Go get a teacher if you want one. But just know that you were also born knowing how to do everything that you came here to do. It's really that you're remembering it, okay? So just know that. Galactic Core, okay? This one, let me just open this little book for a second, because that one's a new one for me. I haven't pulled it, I don't even think, for me before. Let's see. So this is new. He's referring to the birthplace of consciousness. I'm just trying to figure out what he's talking about. Okay, so this card, he's saying, really refers to like using the sun or the earth to channel, okay, back to source. So that goes back to what I just said. Go out in the yard and work with your energy. Start to feel it. Feel the energy of nature. Feel the hum of the earth. Feel the rays of light beaming down on your body from the sun, and start to sense more. As you sense more, you're going to notice the energy more, and you can play around with that, and you can begin to be taught by nature how to work with it, okay? And you'll remember. Sound codes, sound tuning, okay? It's a really big one. I actually sit out in my yard and just sound tune like the neighborhood. And all the little animals and the bugs love it, and my neighbors will stop and sit sometimes and visit and listen, and it's good for everybody. It's good for the trees, it's good for everyone. But sound, see, is vibration, and it goes everywhere. So sing, you know, I've been hearing that a lot from my guides, so I'm saying that to you guys. Sing, hum, sing your favorite song. Don't worry about what you sound like, just sing, okay? Because the tones in your throat are meant to come out and be released. And it's going to help everyone. And most importantly, it's going to help you, okay? Fifth dimensional access. So yeah, of course, that's where we are, right? That's our goal, to come up into that frequency. And the way you do it is that deeper rooted work that was mentioned in the first 2 decks. So that's where we are, right? We are ready. And, you know, the collective is ready. This one just popped up. I'm sorry. There's one more. Oh my gosh, I just pulled this one yesterday. The golden egg. You know, Mary Magdalene, her first miracle, according to the story. Now I think there's more, okay, because she's told me some things. But the first one recorded was that she turned an egg red in front of these like political council that were like kind of interrogating her a little bit, asking her why she believed Christ was who he was and all of that. And so anytime I see an egg, I always think of her, actually. But there's more to this, okay? And I feel like you're going to know when you see it, okay? And think in terms of alchemy. That's what I'm feeling. Okay. She alchemized that. So see, you're taking your shadows and turning them into gold. You're turning them into life lessons. You're converting them into wisdom, and wisdom is golden. Okay. So if we recognize that we are actually master transmuters, alchemists, right? We can take any struggle, anything that we've ever been through. And that is the story of Mary Magdalene, by the way. And I've seen this in so many of my lifetimes that I've seen, and even in this lifetime, that you can take any lesson, anything you go through, and alchemize it into gold, depending on how you utilize that information. That's what wisdom means, by the way, is applied knowledge. So you can have a lot of knowledge, right? But if you don't apply it, then you're not living in wisdom. But when you take that knowledge and you start to utilize it and implement it in your life, that's wisdom, right? And so, yeah, I think we're on the verge of something really amazing. I think you're very special, and you were chosen for a special purpose, and your guides see you. I think that's what this reading is all about. And I'm really, really proud of all of humanity, but I'm really proud of all my fellow orb watchers and drone watchers, because you know what, guys, they're posting these videos and they're doing it no matter what anybody says or what the comments people make. They're just like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, here you go, right? And that takes bravery, and it's that inner knowing. They don't know exactly, right, what's going on, but they know they're supposed to be sharing it and telling others about it. And so I'm very proud of you guys. So I hope this helps for whoever needs it. I love you guys. Let's do the work. Bye.